Hi, welcome to
Channel 11 News.
Channel 11 News. My name's Alexa, and this is my co-host.
Rich.
And we're going to start off with the top news story from Rich.
Alright, so there's been a lot of police brutality going on in the world, but now it's just getting ridiculous. A police boat pulled up to a random ass boat and beat the crap out of a man who wasn't even drinking, and he is critically injured and in the hospital. Off to Alexa for the next news story.
As currently, doctors studying alternative medicine have been doing trials for the elderly to do with their joints, and there are currently 3 injuries due to this study on helping elderly joints. There are 3 that are injured, and there are 10 that are hospitalized. Currently, police are looking into the current reasons why this is going on. Back to my co-host.
Alright, so recently, architects built an underground Pac-Man railroad system where you can ride on the Ghost. They go like 100 miles per hour, so you can beat the train rides and get to your destination in lickety-split. Off to Alexa for the next story.
Some hackers have been recently hijacking buildings. One is the Empire State Building. There are currently about 20 broken windows, and there are stuff missing from the building. Police are on the scene looking for the perpetrator, but the only things they have seen are pretty much just broken computers, and they found 1 fingerprint, and they have 6 suspects that are actually working in that building that they think are the person.
Alright, just recently, United Airlines was in the middle of a flight. They were flying over on a sunset, and then they decide that their flight is overbooked. So what do? They make a guy parachute out of the plane. Off to Alexa for the next news story.
Okay, currently we found out there are some eating contests that are going around. Currently going on in Connecticut. There are 3 in Connecticut and 2 in Massachusetts at some local fairs. Currently there are actually some sex offenders that are actually entering these competitions and winning girls over after and taking them to their bedrooms. So there are fairs going on actually around the fairs. Be aware of any sex offenders. There are some posted on our website. That'll be in the links below. Back to my co-host.
Alright, the Illuminati is now hiring cats to kill people. That's all I got. Off to Alexa for the next story.
Okay. Currently, there have been some issues with real estate companies photoshopping on some popular apps that show houses. So they have photoshopped 2 mansions. 2 of the real estate companies, top real estate companies, have actually photoshopped front pictures of the houses and photoshopped interiors of the houses so that the companies will fail. They have 2 suspects. They have actually 6 suspects undergoing interviews on who they think caused this issue. Back to my co-host.
People on social media started arguing about Popeye's chicken sandwiches, and now this is just ridiculous. They're arguing about lasagna that is broken when it's supposed to be broken. It doesn't get more weirder than that. Off to Alexa for the next story.
In some foreign countries, there are actually some people from America going there with classified information on secret cases that the FBI have been looking into and telling people around the world on the real person that's actually behind this. So criminals have been basically going around the world trying to put out admitting that they are the person doing the crime. The FBI and CSI agents are actually looking further into this and a couple are going around the world to see what is actually going on. Back to my co-host.
All right. With the recent climate change, 91 day, 51 day, Halloween's right around the corner. It's causing people to dress up like Pennywise the Dancing Clown. And they're going around with butcher knives and killing people. Off to Alexa.
Recently, there have been lots of spottings of raccoons, but surprisingly, in some states, there has been a total disappearance of raccoons, and there are more possums being found around on the streets. They think that it is due to possible climate changes, and possibly due to someone actually going out and hunting for raccoons. But more police are on the scene. They have found exactly 150 dead raccoons in Rhode Island, and in Massachusetts they have found about 30. And in Pawtucket, in the town of Pawtucket in Rhode Island, they found about 15. Back to my co-host.
Alright, Warwick police need your help finding a man who's wanted for breaking a whole inventory of coffee cups at a local Warwick restaurant. All we know is that he's a white male wearing dark clothing. He's in between 5'5", about 120 pounds, and he lives in the Warwick area. Alright, off to Alexa for the next story.
So currently, some ministers at some local churches around Rhode Island, such as Cranston, Providence, and Pawtucket, have been currently opening church doors for Section 8 housing. There has been housing options in churches. There are a couple nuns that have been seen around, that have been currently seen walking into churches and actually staying there. They're hoping that there is nothing going on in these churches to do with the ministers and the nuns that's unfair practices, but they're looking into more on this. Back to my co-host.
Alright, there's in Providence, a Providence building is being charged for leaking a video of two girls changing at a neighboring building. With the security cameras are pointing at an apartment complex off of Broad Street. The two women wish not to identify themselves, and the manager of the company is not answering any calls. Off to Alexa.
So currently there have been some studies in laboratories at some colleges that people are starting to act like they have artificial intelligence and have certain emotions. There have been 10 people hospitalized in some asylums and etc. to determine what the problem is with this. But somehow there have been 2 suspects that possibly have brainwashed them into thinking that they had artificial intelligence. Back to my co-host.
Alright, in Russia, the leader of the Russian mafia is being charged of a killing on a train and stopping it from doing its route. 15 people were killed on this train by the leader of the Russian mafia. He has not yet been arrested. Russian police need your help finding him. He could be anywhere from the USA and Alaska or in Canada. Off to Alexa.
Currently, there has been there's going to be a reality TV show coming out to do with women thinking to go into the military. They will show what training you will go under to go into the military, and they interview the women that are training the other women to go into the army. Hopefully that this show will be a top hit on the TV. There have been currently 1 million views on the upcoming debut of this reality TV show. It is coming out October 2nd. On to my co-host.
All right, most Boston colleges are reducing student loans every time a student stays at a rest area. Every time a student stays at a Massachusetts rest area on the highway, the school is deducting $200 off the student loans. Off to Alexa for the next story.
Next story is in Hollywood. Currently, there is a mysterious fashion designer around Hollywood. There are currently 3 people that have been talking to this fashion designer and having custom-made outfits made by them. Jennifer Lopez has had 2 outfits made by this designer, Taylor Swift, and also Melanie Martinez. On to my co-host.
Alright, so one American taught a baboon to sing the American national anthem. The video's up on YouTube. It's already got 5.3 million hits and views. It's just the funniest thing out there. Off to Alexa for the next news story.
Next news story is there is two strange men bring helicopters full of hamburgers over rainforests, trying to recreate Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Currently, they have not found out the identities of these 2 people, and the police are not looking into this any further. These people are not wanted by the police at this time, but please be alert for these 2 guys. One of the guys has black hair. He's very skinny, and he's wearing a black hoodie with a logo on the front, with a heart logo on the front. And the second guy, for some reason, has very long blonde hair, and he's wearing jeans and a tank top. They're currently not wanted by the police, but please be aware out for them. On to my co-host.
Alright, this sounds like an excellent time. A driver is being charged with A driver transporting eggs is being charged with a road rage incident that sent 1 person to the hospital. All the eggs cracked and didn't get delivered to the places they had to go. That's extravagantly ironic. Off to Alexa.
At Miami Beach and some other beaches in Florida, there are currently these men randomly wearing beach towels on their backs like they're superheroes. It is a stereotype that they are working in a large group to make awareness. It's a stereotype that they're making awareness for superheroes, thinking that superheroes are real. They have currently found 2 guys that have did this and took them into custody, interviewing them to find out the actual reason why they're doing this. But none of them will speak on the account of this. Police are trying to still find others that are doing this in Florida and pinpoint why. On to my co-host.
At lake compounds, the toilets have no water in them. The water park has plenty of water, but for some reason the bathrooms lack water. It's a plumbing issue. Lake Compound said that their maintenance team is working on that, and it should be up and running by tomorrow. Off to Alexa.
So, some jazz bands have been currently not being vaccinated for the main vaccines that they need in Rhode Island at the moment. So, and it is spreading like fire, meningitis B, and meningitis. The meningitis sickness or virus has been spreading in a lot of clubs and bars currently due to the fact of the local issues of the jazz bands not being vaccinated, and they have VIP passes. These are all people that had VIP passes backstage to meet the top people. On to my co-hosts.
A Wyoming man was put under citizen's arrest for turning his car into a planter. Police in Lickalamoo, Wyoming, arrested a man with the help of a citizen for this, making a plant into a car. And the last story.
At local airports, TF Green Airport and etc. have been meddling in people's stuff and have been stealing inappropriate stuff out of their bags that shouldn't be meddled with. Some people at security in the local airports have been arrested due to stealing people's clothing, jackets, medications, when they are needed. Obviously, medications are not allowed on planes, but are allowed in the carry-ons, and they should have had at least some proof that it was. But other things have been stolen from the bags. That is the end of tonight's news. My name's Alexa.
And I'm Rich, and we will see y'all tomorrow night.